Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. Today I have a super special guest. This is Dylan. Hey. So Dylan and I went to Barnard together. That's how we know each other. And
we're in flute choir together.
We were in flute choir together, and that's how we officially met. We were both president of the flute choir at one point.
That's a very important thing to be.
It's a very important thing to be. So basically I just kind of want Beauty and Brains to be this series where we talk about identity and how that influences us navigating the job landscape and stuff like that. So Dylan was kind enough to come on my channel today to talk about how their trans identity affects them in the workplace. You are tracking your transition on your channel right now, right? So if anybody's interested in that, be sure to check that out as well. And what other topics are you thinking of posting on?
On my channel?
Yeah.
I am thinking of talking about navigating dating and existing in public. And passing and just all of those fun things. I also have some feelings about the word transition, so probably make a video about all of that also.
Cool, so be sure to check that out. I will have that linked down below. And otherwise, let's jump into it. So, Dylan, what are your pronouns?
I use they, them socially, but because I am a special ed teacher and I work with kids who do not understand a lot of things, I use he, him at work.
So, can you elaborate more on how you present yourself and your identity in the workplace, what that has to do with your students and the parents and your own safety?
I mean, I identify as non-binary trans masculine, but my students are very black and white thinkers. A lot of them have autism, and so understanding that there are more than two genders would probably really screw with their heads. And while I try
I feel like it screws with a lot of people's heads.
Right, you know, my parents. So while I'm trying to expose them to that, I feel like coming in day one and being like, I'm not a man or a woman, they would have been like, what is happening? So I basically just went with the pronouns that I feel like most closely next fit my presentation. Also, you know, it's for the kids, but it's also for society. You know, the parents probably wouldn't. I feel like a lot of older generations generally don't understand that there are more than two genders, and so explaining to some of these parents that I use they, them, and that I don't identify as a man or a woman, but I dress pretty masculinely, would just be a really unnecessary and emotionally exhausting thing for me to do that I'd have to explain over and over and over again. And I feel like I'm constantly explaining my identity and justifying it to people, so I don't need to do it at work also.
Totally. So on that note, real quick, if I could interrupt you, just on that note, what would you say to somebody who's well, you know, it's really important for you to be who you are and change the landscape by, for example, using your correct pronouns at your job? What would you say to that person?
I mean, I think, of course it's important, and yes, it is important for me to change the narrative and stand up for who I am, but at the same time, I need to acknowledge where I am and what I'm doing, and just explaining concepts to 8 and 9-year-olds. If I was working in a high school or a middle school even, I might do that, but these kids are not totally you know, they're not they don't even know English all the way yet. They're still learning all of these things. Their reading and writing aren't totally there, and explaining to them that this word that they think means one person, actually, or they think means multiple people, they think they refers to a group of people.
Right.
Explaining to them that no, everything you've ever been taught is wrong.
Right.
I feel just wouldn't go over well also.
I'm trying to teach you grammar, but at the same time grammar's really oppressive.
But I do. They're oh, you can't do this, you're a boy. Or you can't wear this, you're a boy. Boys can't do this, boys can't do the other thing. And so instead of being here, you know, I'm not a boy, I'm oh, here are all the things actually that boys can do. or that girls can do. Like we were talking the other day about how one of my students was like, boys can't wear dresses, and I said, of course boys can wear dresses.
Yeah, of course they can.
Or like I wear earrings, and that really is hard for them. Or like I wore pink. I wore a pink shirt. One of my students was like, Dylan. And I said, yes. She goes, you're wearing pink. Yes.
You can talk a little bit about how your aesthetic influences the way people treat you or some choices that you make in the workplace.
Do you want me to talk about how beautiful I am? Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I present like very masculinely, even though I don't necessarily identify that way. I think it's always, like ever since I started coming out, that was just how I feel comfortable. But it definitely makes it easier to like pass as male, because people like don't really give me funny looks now, or like assume that.
When would people give you funny looks?
Like pre my voice dropping, people would assume that I was like a girl trying to be a boy, and like it was very confusing for people. But now people are just like whatever, especially because like, you know, I've always like preferred to wear suits instead of dresses, and just like fitting into this binary way of dressing is, I mean, it's exhausting, but like sometimes it's easier than like trying to smooth it, because like if you need a job, for example, and you show up like in a dress and makeup and you look like me, like people are gonna be confused, and people discriminate against people who confuse them.
Yeah. Well, I feel like when I had like a shaved head with like a little patch of hair, but like a full beat, people would kind of be like, what? Like sometimes,
it's confusing.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
Or like hairy armpits, but like eyelashes, like it just didn't make sense to people that you could just like be queer and glam at the same time. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Leave something in the comments below if you feel like you relate to this in any way, or if there's another Beauty and Brains topic that you want me to discuss. Basically anything that is, basically anything about how your identity relates to how you navigate the professional world, and just like some problems and potential solutions or strategies for navigating those problems that could be helpful to others. Me and Dylan have another video. If it has already been uploaded, I'm going to link it down below, but it's about how taking testosterone affects your skin. So be sure to check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching, or thank you all so much for watching. I'm trying to stop saying thank you guys. All right, make sure to subscribe, check out Dylan's channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.